Good evening, ladies and gents. This is Repulsion back for another Repulsion Reviews Any Album of his choosing, third installment. Tonight we are listening to Resisting Cardiac Arrest's Pork Brosnans. I am stoked to say I have a cassette tape copy of this album. Resisting Cardiac Arrest is composed of two people, one that I know here in Oklahoma and the other in North Carolina named Sensei. The one I do know is named Nigel, and he's a very anti-culture personality, very interesting fellow. Therefore, I think the personalities are probably going to reflect on this album. Heavily interested to hear what I'm going to feast my ears upon. I'm going to pop it into the cassette player, and I'm going to share my thoughts with you right after. Reminiscent of Vaporwave, though without the forward motion and with the delay. Though Vaporwave isn't really a genre I can actually define as a certain style. Definitely heavily on the experimental dark ambient sound side of things so far. Minus the intro, might I mention, I love those little default FL Studio kicks and claps. They're politically inspired, probably. Reminiscent of some old projects I've worked on too. What the fuck? What is this? Oh, catchy, I might say. Alright. On to the next.
Of ourselves.
That's a tone change for sure. A very much a tone change. Kind of a spoken word and atmosphere breaks I'm feeling. Possibly Nigel worked on the more rhythmic parts of it, whereas Sensei was working on the more atmospheric, ambient, spoken word areas. Just a theory myself. However, I'm sure we'll hear from both of the members by the end of this video. Nice use of samples, actually. Reminiscent of an old school underground cassette tape that you'd find in your great-grandmother's attic.
Then you're on your own.
It's a nice touch to cut that out when you heard the you're on your own part. Perhaps something about loneliness, you know. Maybe I'm thinking too deep on this album, I'm not sure. Nice. Nice intro here. I'm down with this track. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yes, that is smooth. Beautiful. Yes, please. So nice. Sometimes while listening to these, I can feel that like a spirit is being summoned. Definitely something far away, distant, near, who knows? All I know is that I must barricade myself. Definitely a different kind of energy. This is like spine chilling. This is a spine chilling part of the album, I actually gotta say. Really nice. Very nice touch. Got a nice, deep, bellowing atmosphere on this. Won't lie, actually listening to this album is kind of unsettling, but it's a good thing for this kind of Resisting Cardiac Arrest wanted to present with this album, and I'm catching on to that as I listen to it. I actually do think this album does have some replay value. Not a lot of music that makes me feel the need to look around, check what's around me. Like sometimes you might even just close your eyes, find yourself in a different place when listening to these kind of albums. I do have another cassette that is straight melodic ambient. It's kinda reminiscent of this style, but this is a different, more experimental, darker style involving sampling, reverse samples, bellowing low samples. Very nice, honestly. This is not even half bad. Here comes the silly beat music. I know Nigel made this. I can just tell Nigel made this. Fucking Christ. What a change. I went straight from being sucked into the deep, darkest atmosphere there is, and I'm into this. How do you do this? It's like watching a horror movie and getting comic relief. Here we are, back to the industrial beat. rough. Rough. And dusty. I really do understand the appeal of this, like, tracks like that. Huh. Well, I guess that was Port Brosnan's by Resisting Cardiac Arrest. Check out that link if you liked what you heard. I thought that was some of the craziest, weirdest shit I've heard recently. And I hear a lot of weird stuff. Enthusiastic for the experimental touches. That was kind of a ride between dark atmospheres to jump into like these silly, comical style beats, which I know Nigel produced. I can just tell. I'm sure Sensei's behind the deeper, more pounding, industrial type stuff. At any rate, you know, honestly, it is what it is. You know, I actually kind of liked it. If you liked it yourself, you can check it out below. Thank you for watching me listen to random shit. Resisting Cardiac Arrest, Port Brosnan's.